In a sea of samey 90s first-person shooters, this game was just odd. 1997 was a landmark time for video games. GoldenEye, Star Fox, Turok all came out in 97. The industry was trending towards shooters, violence, blood, and executives weren't even proud to be working on video games. Video games were still seen as toys. And in all of this mess came a puzzle platformer about freeing slaves, specifically the Mudokons, a slave race with psychic powers that let them body snatch other people. They're ruled over by the Glukkon, who want power and money and to build enterprise that'll exploit people, animals, and the very planet itself. And serving the Glukkons are the Sligs, former slaves who got out of slavery by making themselves useful as guards. But the main antagonist is Moloch the Glukkon, CEO of Rupture Farms. Rupture Farms is a food processing plant where Abe works as slave labor. One night while working late, Abe finds out that sales are going down due to the animals they use for food going extinct. So they're going to come out with a new line of food made from the Mudokons. Abe flees the factory trying to free as many Mudokons as he can. Then he learns he's the chosen one, because of course he is, returns to Rupture Farms to bring the whole thing down. And the ending that you get depends on how many Mudokons you save. If you get over 50, you get the good ending. I saved 2. But before we talk about gameplay, the story behind the scenes was even more interesting than the one in the game. There was an unnamed executive who worked for GT Interactive, Oddworld's publisher, and they were already working on a shooter when they got reassigned to Oddworld, and a lot of the funds assigned to that shooter also went to Oddworld. So that exec tried to get Oddworld shut down by bringing footage of the game to the higher-ups, thinking they would kill the project. And Lanning, one of the lead creators on the game, said this happened more than once. The developers saw themselves as the opposite of what the going trend was. Lanning even said the goal was, maybe we can make people feel better rather than just feeling like they won. They loved it. They loved it so much, they diverted more money to Oddworld. This game had a development budget of $4 million and a marketing budget of $10 million, which is the biggest marketing budget GT had ever put into a game. And the behind-the-scenes story doesn't stop there, because when the game got ported to Japan, things got a lot more complicated. In Japan, the game was published by a company called SoftBank, and they changed the name to Abe's A Go-Go. And they also wanted to change the look of the Mudokons. In the American version of the game, Abe has 4 fingers. The Mudokons all have 4 fingers. But in Japan, 4 fingers, or showing someone 4 fingers, was a way of insinuating they were a member of the subclass, basically referencing meat packers who lost a finger during work. And with Abe working in a meat processing center, the connection was pretty clear. So they changed the Mudokon design to have 3 fingers, and that became the lore for the rest of the series. So how does this game actually play? It is a brutal 2D puzzle platformer, and it introduces a ton of mechanics that you need to learn and to be able to use to get around all the obstacles and enemies and basically 1,000 other things that'll kill you. And the game teaches you all these mechanics through signs, literal signs, marquees, or flying glowing bugs. And you really need to pay attention, because I happen to miss the one that tells you how to chant, and chanting is the way that you body snatch enemies or open up portals. And so I got through the entire first level without using it, which means I didn't save any Mudokons. Not that I was trying very hard. I think by the end I saved 2 of them. And that was because I was already there and it didn't cost me anything. Because most of the Mudokons you have to save are in hidden areas. And I don't know if you would even figure that out on your first playthrough until you get to the end of the level and you find out there's a bunch that you hadn't saved, because it tells you how many there are and how many you've saved. And I am not going back to this game. It's a classic, people love it, good for you. I found it frustrating because every single failure ends in death. And this game is not generous with the checkpoints. There is no saving, there is only checkpoints. And so one death can cost you several screens of progress. But I will give the game this, it looks great. All the factories have this weird, corroded, grimy kind of aesthetic to it. You go outside and you see a starry night sky while some little freaking creatures trying to tear your throat out. It's all very pretty. But is it worth your time? Abe's Oddysee was a big departure from the other games of the mid-90s, the era of shooters. And Oddworld was this weird little puzzle platformer where you freed slaves. I mean, I didn't do that, but you definitely should. One of the reasons I only freed 2 of the Mudokons is because the game made me so frustrated, there was a small little part of me that actually enjoyed watching them die. But if you stick with it, you will find a game that is weird, funny, and punishing. And when it's over, maybe you'll feel better rather than you just won.